Okay, this is the, can't speak today. This is Miss Majewski's Red group for the composition project. All right. I had a little bit of discussion with certain people in the group. And notice I said people. And I decided that I wanted y'all to write down both of these lines because I think they're really good candidates. I don't think you guys have fully decided which one you'd like to use. Okay, so I'm going to play each one so that way you can hear what they both sound like and then decide from there. Okay, but first I do need to do a little bit of fixing here. We weren't able to finish everything. Now this here is T ta, T ta, T ta ta ta. And judging from the letters that are here, I'm making that G, 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 A, G, 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 F, F. Okay, now if I was to play that, I'll play it 2 times through. It'll sound like this. G, 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 A, G, G. Okay. All in all, it's a nice line. It's easy to play. I don't think it's going to be super hard for someone to pick it up. Now, what kind of line is it? Is it a bass line? I wouldn't call it a bass line. I wouldn't call it a bass line. It's a little too high in the range. If I had to say, I would say it's a melody line. Now, with that said, what you can do with this one, some suggestions. I would suggest if you want to make it a harmony line, make it like a vegetable or a spicy line, add a note underneath, like G and E, A and F, A and F, G and E, and then maybe even F and D. Okay? So that would sound like this. Gives it a little bit more flavor. That you can always go with that. Okay? Now, but you also have this line down here. This was written by Anne, and I really do like it. T ta, 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 ta. That went like this. Okay? I like her rest at the end. I like how you're using the same pattern as up here with this line, but rather than playing 2 notes at once or playing the same note, you alternated the notes, G, E, G, F, D, F. I like that. And then I also like how this is not all over the place. It's simply stepping up. You just got finished playing F and D, and the note in between is the E, and it's just E, F, G. That's very nice. I thought that was very creative. I didn't feel like, I felt like Anne was really putting in some effort there, so that's why I wanted to go ahead and keep it. So it was kind of a last minute thing. I think the rest of the group was lining up when I had her write it down. Okay, now some things you can do with this line. This would make a great melody line as well. Now, just like you can have a double meat sandwich, you can have a double melody song. So you can have one melody going on here and one melody going along here, and then one melody going along here. The only thing you need to be careful of is how they mesh. When you play them together, do they complement each other? Now, I can tell you just by looking at it, being a musician, there's going to be some clashing right off the bat. How do I know? Because this G is on the same beat as this F, and it's going to clash. It'll sound like this. And it's gonna mess up. So if you wanted to use both of these lines, you're gonna need to go back and do a couple of adjustments, okay? I suggest making this F a G, because here it would not make sense for you to have 2 Fs there. It just wouldn't jive very well. So those are some suggestions. Now, let's see here. Whoops. So what I need for you first to do, red group, let me get my marker out. The first thing I need for y'all to do is figure out which one you want to do. Figure out what your first line is going to be. What's the first line you're going to learn? Now, you're not allowed to say it's going to be my line. Okay? I don't want to hear that. I want to hear actual conversation going on, coming up with a compromise. You may end up doing this one, this measure with this measure, or vice versa, this measure with this measure. Okay? It's completely up to you. So you need to decide on the line. Then everyone needs to practice that line 4 times. 4 times through to make sure everyone can play it. Now I apologize for making all these colored marks all over your board, but you got some very fabulous ideas at this group, and I want to make sure each one is heard. So go with these notes. I hope they're not too messy here, and I'm looking forward to seeing what y'all come up with.